Welcome to the downside. When did we say this episode's coming out?
October 24th.
This episode's coming out October 24th. You know that, though, because it's October 24th when you're listening to it. Bad intro.
No.
This is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host, Russell Daniels.
Hi, Gianmarco.
We're blessed to be joined by my producer, Paige Asachika.
Yes.
I've been saying it wrong.
You really have.
You say it real quick.
Asachika.
Oh, is that Paige's mic? Is you making a noise? Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Fuck.
We'll fix it in post. It's just the headphones. You don't need headphones. No. It's not the headphones. It's not the headphones.
I think it's mine.
I
You
hear
think
it
it's your
too,
mic?
though.
No, we all hear it. Oh.
Oh.
It's this. It's this mic. I
Whose
think
mic
it's this
is that?
wire. It's Paige's mic.
I don't need to talk.
You don't need to talk.
No.
Oh, all right. There. Is it fine?
Hello? Oh,
All
now
right.
I can hear
Okay,
me.
there we
Okay,
go.
good.
There we go.
We're keeping it all. This is the downside.
God.
This is the downside of running a studio out of an apartment. It's not convenient. It's not get rid of it. I should go somewhere. You go somewhere for your podcast.
No,
You do it at home?
I do it at home, and I don't even have a desk, so it's like an ottoman, and then I put a step stool on it, and then I put my laptop on a step stool.
Exactly. We're doing the same. It's chaos. And your podcast, we're not doing the Wilbur anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
We're doing Sesh Comedy Club, and we're giving away free tickets. So say our producer's name.
Asachika.
Fuck. Okay. I've been saying Asachika forever.
Either one's
You
fine.
corrected him or no?
No, I didn't.
See, this is the thing that's happened to me before. I had a friend, and forever it's Soren, and then after 10 years of friendship, he goes, "You guys, you've been saying my name wrong. It's Serene." And it's like, well, fuck off. You're 10 years.
10 years?
Wait, how did
10 years.
How did you find out though that you were saying it wrong? Because I thought it was said differently, but you've said it so confidently for so long that I was like, oh, it looks must.
Oh yeah,
look
dumb
different.
and confident. That's
but
that's
how
the
would you
perfect
find out?
Combo.
I don't know.
We were testing mics at a live show, and I said, "Hey, this is Paige Asachika," and
I
then
screamed. I said, "Oh my God, no!"
You've been saying Asachika.
Yeah,
But
you know what?
either way's fine, though. Either way's fine. I truly don't know the right pronunciation.
I think the
being
bad part is,
honest.
I think because I grew up watching so much anime, I'm like, oh, I know. I know how to pronounce all this. That's not a racist thing. That's just I've seen a lot of like Goku-san, Piccolo,
Okay.
Asachika.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Okay, well, we are here.
My name is Liza, but some people confidently think it is Liza, and they fuck with other people that know the right way, and everyone gets in their head.
Well, I'm so glad you said that before I brought you onto the stage.
Yes.
Welcome, Liza Treyger. I knew.
Hi.
I knew. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, people will bring me up on stage and be like, "Oh, good friend for years, Liza, get on up here." But you know, I don't care. As
Hey,
much.
well, host with it. There's a comic. He still does comedy. He goes. When you bring me on stage, say I'm your really good friend. And what do you think his first line is? What do you think his opening line is?
I don't know that guy.
Yeah. Give it up for what's his name?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so I'm the jackass in your joke. I'm the jackass. It's my least favorite thing.
It's so fun. I usually, to be brought up on stage, I always say, "Give me a compliment." I want a compliment.
That would stress me. Okay, let's go real
No, a
quick.
lot of people don't know how to.
What would you do?
No, people get stressed, but all you have to do is funny, cool, amazing.
Yeah.
But people get really. They
What's
don't
the
know
worst?
What to do.
You
Well,
ever get anything
no.
weird? Like ended up being like an insult?
Nothing that I remember enough, so that's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, because I remember every slight, everything that doesn't like I remember it all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not be so focused on the negative, but this is a perfect pod.
This is the perfect pod. I was gonna say we'll put that goal away for a little
Yeah.
bit.
I am nervous to be on the pod too because I feel like I'm gonna be so obvious with the things that I'm so annoyed with that it's gonna be like a friend watching it online being like, "Well, this is clearly about me." You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad your friends are at least listening. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
They'll listen to the clip. You know, we'll post the clip.
we'll tag them in it too. They'll be like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
Well, before we get to you, I have some things to complain about, and then you have something cool that we'll go to. I did a Jewish event last week, and it was a men's Jewish organization, but it was all genders.
How religious?
Very,
Okay.
very. I wasn't allowed.
Hard with them because they don't know things. Like they don't have Netflix.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Of
You
course.
can't like you can say a reference that is so obvious to us, and they'll be like, who is that? That's not my Cantor. You know,
Yes.
like they don't know.
And here's where the only rules. First they said, because they looked me up online and they're like, yeah, no pedophile jokes. And I guess there was a rabbi, part of the community. They found out recently he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
So no pedophile jokes.
Yeah.
Which made me go all my pedophile jokes about priests. And honestly, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I need to write a joke about how rabbis can be pedophiles too. So that's what that
Yeah, but
accomplished.
did the synagogue kick him out?
Oh yeah, he's
and press
he's not there.
charges?
He's not there anymore.
Okay,
He's
that's the
been
difference.
yeah, it wasn't like I was like, so pedophiles over here. Hello. Not father. You say rabbi, right?
I say rabbi, yeah.
But you don't say that. You just say like Rabbi Schwarzenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Did you have to wear a kippah?
no.
Okay.
So not that religious. They said no Holocaust jokes, partially because the previous year they had a showcase lineup, and like as what happens, 4 comedians in a row mentioned the Holocaust.
Right.
We just can't help it. And then they said you can curse, and then like right before they said, actually, can you not curse? And I was like, okay, fine. So it's rough. It's ages 0 to 1,000.
How long?
45 to an hour. Probably the only time I've ever done the lower end of that time range.
Yeah,
I was looking at the clock. And about 5 minutes in, hopefully this, you can hear that I'm not doing great, but I had a heckler. Again, a heckler I didn't know how to handle. Oh, did it? Oh, please work. No. Son of a bitch. If this doesn't work, I'm going to scream. Nope.
It's working.
That's you. That's Russell.
Big old tennis from Europe.
That's a UCB sketch. We mentioned that in an episode.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna insert it after the thing. I'm just gonna play it on
Yeah,
on
let's play that
here.
thing, and we'll play it.
All right. Here we go. So this was 5 minutes into the show.
I find that one day of the year they're allowed to use doorknobs. And I say, here's a link to the tickets. They go, tickets are how much?
So not doing great.
What was that?
Common sense.
Common sense?
Yeah, you make no sense right now.
Biggest laugh of the night.
I'm going to have to handle this heckler very gently. What? Tell me, talk to me.
Why did they ask kids to come here if they probably kids don't even understand?
Listen, I understand. You talk to the booker, not me. They can get the wiggles next time for you. What was that? You want me to talk about a 3-hump camel? Well, I was just about to get to that, but you interrupted. I was just about to get to my whole 3-hump camel.
So then 50 minutes after that, it was brutal. It was and her parents just sitting there. I'm like, please take her away. So I handled it terribly.
What did you want to do? Attack the child instead? Do you regret not getting vicious?
I thought like, I didn't know what to do. I thought, should I bring her on stage? That'll be fun. But should I come up with a 3-hump camel joke?
Well,
I didn't have any. You?
I don't have any. I don't know. I would think I'd be more mean. I would.
How mean? What would you do?
I think if I wanted them out like you, I'd be like, someone take this fucking kid out. I don't know. That's not even fun. But that's not fun. They would hate me even more.
Yeah.
Wiggles thing, you should have gotten more. I feel
But
like
that's your
that was
point
a
earlier.
quick thing.
They don't watch Wiggles. They watch, Rabbi Shlubabu and the Baba Bus. So they don't even know that reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to say like Snoopy maybe.
Sure, I should have thought of a more Jewish
What
cartoon.
did she first say about you make no sense?
She said you make no sense.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this will be fun.
Maybe I'd be like, no, your brain isn't developed.
That's good. That's good.
Idiot.
But
Like you live in a bubble, honestly, actually. Like you will never know anything. You'll have to escape your family once you realize and you don't want to wear a wig. You know what I mean?
Sure. The problem is the camel line was cute. The first
Yeah.
line, she wasn't wrong. I
You weren't
wasn't really making sense. None of the thing that was happening fully made sense.
So did they not like what happened? You think from the beginning they were like, what? Because I know someone else who does, there's a comic, Noah Garden Schwartz. He was
Yes.
telling me that he does this show, I think in Florida, at like a nice hotel where rich Jews go for Passover. So they don't have to cook, they don't have to touch anything. Everything's made for them, it's all catered. And every year he does an hour of comedy where he says half the crowd leaves throughout. And this year the
Brutal.
booker went, no one left, and that was like he murdered.
Uh-huh.
So I guess notorious.
I think, like, honestly, the show went fine for the people that were there. It's not like I was on a lineup where they saw, like, oh, their level of laughing was like, oh, this is a good show. I think.
Yeah. And did you get paid well?
Decently enough. Friend connections.
I recently just did a college in Connecticut in the cafeteria on their dip night. So it was me and a bunch of dips. So it was like hummus, a buffalo chicken dip, like there were dips.
I don't know where my head went, like tobacco or like drugs,
I know.
but like like carrot sticks and celery, chicken.
Yeah, some chips.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it was, it wasn't really I couldn't just do a set. This was the first time they'd ever seen comedy. These are 18-year-olds, maybe self-conscious. Like I could, so I just started doing crowd work and started kind of making fun of them. And then every cool girl, I brought her to the front to build a cool girl table. But then the show devolved into them just asking me like what famous people I know. And then when I would say a famous person, they would clap. And so that's like how it ended.
What got the biggest pop?
Oh, Pete Davidson, of course.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Did they have follow-up?
Oh, I said Demi Moore. Crickets. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
The equivalent of saying Wiggles at the Jewish thing is Demi Moore for them.
18-year-olds.
But I do feel like I watched them learn what comedy was, because in the beginning they were weird. And then to one girl, like I talked to a bunch of them. I go, who cares what your mom thinks? She's a drunk. And I could tell they were like, oh, that she's kidding. And then they laughed. Like, it was really kind of cool to watch. But it's also upsetting that you care about these teens and what they think of you, and they're still like the cool skater teens where you're like, I hope they like me, and it's like you're at a commuter college.
Yeah. I think it's always interesting. There's so many people that come after comedy shows and they go, this was my first comedy show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if other fields, it's quite as often like people have to learn what this is, what their role is. Like you always talk about how audiences have to be kind of active at comedy shows. It's an active audience experience. And I think part of it is learning that.
Yeah.
So when you go to these venues where the whole audience hasn't seen a comedy show, they don't know that they're supposed to like laugh out loud. They're all just sitting there like, why isn't this like it?
Or like,
when
my opener, like he did a joke that was maybe a little self-deprecating or about him not like fucking well or something like that. And these girls were like, oh my God, red flag. Like, you don't know that, like they.
That's the whole comedy act. Like, oh, that opinion is not great.
Yeah.
To be fair, these kids might not have known they were going to see comedy. They might have just been there for the dip.
Of course. And they also had a little station where you could get your photo printed on a Cracker Jack box. I was competing with a lot of stuff,
Weird mix of
Things.
things.
Yeah.
Well, Russell had a more exciting gig this weekend.
Ooh.
Russell filled in for the first time, playing Josh Gad's role in Gutenberg, the
Are you
musical
fucking
on
kidding
Broadway.
me? I'm with a Broadway star right now?
Broadway star.
Well, I'm Josh's standby, and he called out under 2 hours' notice on Saturday, and he.
And there was a scare last week.
He's feeling better, but
Yeah,
there was a little
Real
bit
quick
of
for
a
the PR for he's feeling well. The show will continue. Buy your ticket. You're not going to see Russell. Don't worry. He's not going to be there. But it almost happened on Monday. Russell.
Monday he wasn't feeling well, so they were just like heads up, So
But you had a free. You had a. That would have been.
because we were gonna have a live show, and I was like, I gotta go home and because I've never done the show, so I was like,
That's a weird way that you phrased it. You said I have to go home. I said Russell,
That's
don't
what
bother
you
going
made
to
me-
the live recording. I want you to take
Yes,
care of
yes,
yourself.
You were very sweet. So, but I had that freak out earlier in the week, which was good to have, and it was a false alarm. And the show, we were able to run the second half of the show because I'd never.
It's a
run it
two-hander.
Just
It's
two
a
people.
gigantic role.
Oh, I know. It's him and Andrew Reynolds.
Yes.
Like,
Your Broadway.
I know. I love Andrew Reynolds a lot.
Really?
but-
That's the connect. Really? Like, where did you first fall in love with Andrew Reynolds?
I would say Book of Mormon
Uh-huh.
and then Girls. And I had just recently rewatched Girls, and there's some scene. He is so good.
He's
like,
very good.
I forgot that you're such a Girls fan. I forgot how is his role big in Girls? Because I only saw that first
in
season.
and out. But
in and out, yeah.
later he has like that monologue with the bald guy from House of Cards.
Yeah.
And he's like crying and holding it back and being vulnerable. And I was just like, oh my God, he's incredible. And like his arc was so good. And this was a big deal, them reuniting again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and you know, what I love about it, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that for my first time I didn't have a lot of time to spiral and be like, fuck. Like,
So what's the rehearsal for understudy? Like, what is that? How do you even know it?
so I'd gotten to the other standby and I, because it's just a 2-person show. So we'd gotten to run things like not on stage, but like with each other in a rehearsal studio. Like we were at all the rehearsals that they were having, you know, and then we would go and pop into another room and rehearse stuff from time to time. And then once we got to the theater, we got to run a couple weeks ago. He and I got to run Act 1, like with the band on stage in costume, get notes. And then this past week, when there was that false alarm, we got to run Act 2 on stage. But I'd never run the full show, and I never run it with Andrew. I'd never done anything with Andrew.
That's what people on the outside don't understand. These understudies carry Broadway.
I mean, it was
especially during COVID. Like all these alphabas got sick,
for
and they had to
sure.
like look for an alphaba.
I had friends who had done Wicked like over 10 years ago, getting calls and getting paid wild amounts of money just to come in and be like, because they were so desperate, being like, you know the track, you haven't done it in 10 years, but come on in, you know. Just
One day Titanic's gonna say, "We got $100 with your name on it for the whole weekend."
Guess what? I just kicked the cord, and my headphones just started working. I've just been yelling at everyone this whole time.
That's
That's
how
why
it
it
goes.
probably sounds like
Yeah.
I've been screaming. You haven't been in my ears. I cannot believe it. So you're singing, you're acting. I mean, do you feel like the crowd's a little pissed, or?
No, well, here's what I will say. The good thing about it is that, you know, I was very stressed about that. It's a 2-person show, so you're like, oh, I would be disappointed.
It's
You know,
Olaf, right?
Yeah, you're like, and like people are excited.
Kids
so,
started crying.
So, and they print out a thing that before you even go into the theater, they print out a giant post being like, if you want a refund, here it is. Here's how to do it. Like before you even walk into the building, people are given an option they can get a refund. But a good amount. It was like a very full crowd, so not a lot of people left, which is good.
So when they
And-
walk into the box office, there's what, a stack
out
of
on
papers.
the street, there's people handing out, like basically when you're
Oh.
getting in line. Here's the thing to like don't have to stay, you know. But I had lots of I had you know, Nicole, and then I had a lot of friends who scrambled last minute to come and see, and they were like everyone
His
in
wife
line,
Nicole.
everyone
She
in line,
mobilized. She texted.
Everyone in
I
line
was
was-
fucking in fucking Iowa, or I
Yeah.
would have been there.
everyone in line was very nice, and they were like, oh, it's the stand, oh, it's a standby. They were like trying to be like, it's a stand-up Broadway debut too. So
And the
like, people were like-
director, Alex Timbers, who directed John Mulaney's last special,
Yeah.
but has 10 Broadway shows on right now. He's
like 3 or 4.
he
yeah.
came out before and like gave Russell a
nice hype
a big hype speech. You know, this guy's made us laugh. We're kind of witnessing Broadway history, and just a
really,
beautiful.
really sweet, and really
For the second one, he's not gonna
I know.
do that kind of speech.
I know. I was like, it was very sweet and very helpful. Like I could not, when I went out, the crowd. It was a very moving, touching thing. Like the crowd was so like excited and like lovely and supportive the entire show, and it felt like. And then the other thing was that Andrew was just like the best, like just the best. He was so sweet, so calm, so there'd be like small moments where I'd be like, oh, you know, you're like. I was actually surprised in how much of it I was like, oh, this feels great, totally normal, having fun, doing it, and then you get to a moment you'd be like, holy fuck, no idea what happens next. And anytime I like dropped a line, he would immediately do it, at least the first half of the line, and then I would be able to like continue.
Really?
And because it's a play within a play and stuff, it didn't feel unnatural. It felt like very like these two guys are still doing it. You know?
Any fuck ups?
There was one big thing that was terrifying. It's all these hats. You're playing all these characters, so you have like stacks of hats that you have to like throw
200 different hats that
throw
go
off.
on and
It's
down
very
this that.
complicated. So I threw away one of the stacks of hats too early. Like threw out 5 hats.
And like it's gone.
Yeah, gone. And so I go back to the table to get it, and it's not there. I'm panicking. I see in the wings, stage management has printed out a piece of paper because they saw that I did it.
That says if you want refunds.
If you want to kill yourself, I have a gun. No, it says they printed out the order of the hats, so I could see it, look at their sign, quickly dig through the bin to
Wow.
restack the hats in order.
Wow.
So
Some professional staging.
wild. So that was the only big thing that was very stressful in a moment, and it didn't really hold up the show that much, and it was like, fun.
But and so you've never been on Broadway before.
No.
Oh my
I was not doing
God.
I was not doing musical theater a year ago. I was doing sketch comedy, and with you, and UCB and Asylum, and and then I did Titanic off Broadway, and then it just
Barely sang a lick.
barely. I sing a little
But
bit.
it was such a hit.
It was such a hit. But this is how was the singing? Was your voice? Was it there?
good. It
Yeah?
felt good. I mean, Andrew has Andrew's voice. Andrew has an incredible voice. I have a good voice. And it felt like it was all good. It didn't feel like there were any notes where I was like, oh fuck. I felt really good about it. So insane. It was an insane, very surreal.
So like if I saw Hello Dolly twice with Bette Midler. If I came and it wasn't Bette Midler, I'd be pissed.
If it was Russell Daniels, though.
But I've seen understudies on tons of shows where I'm just going to a show, and I've never am like, that person wasn't never. It's always, and I feel like it's the shot, and they usually work a little harder.
I totally think that. I think it's the model of Broadway shows with stars is really difficult to maintain. Like if your show really relies on the
Doing
stars.
8 shows a week, it's
nuts.
It's insane. It really is. I mean, some of them have lately moved so that like on a certain performances, maybe 6.
No matinees.
You know,
If I had that kind of star power. No
Yeah, no-
matinees.
You
No,
have to
nice.
at least do one for the
the olds, yeah.
I
One a
wish we
week.
had days where it's just like I like a brunch show, and then I did my comedy for the day. I'm done.
But you wouldn't. You would take a nap and go at night.
You would, yeah.
I don't even know you that well. That's your reputation, though. You're a psychopath. I heard you can't take a break.
Psychopath, the word that has to be used.
No.
Dedicated to his craft.
It's close to it though. But
I used to be a psycho too, and then something hits where you're like, no, I'm gonna go to my friend's birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to Vegas, and I'm gonna go to this Broadway show, and then I'll do the cellar late
To
nights
be
after.
fair,
But
I saw the Broadway show last week.
you did.
I saw you do your one-line version of it. There's one line at the
cameo.
end.
The last thing I'll say, the other thing about it that helps the whole situation is because of the circumstances of the show, and because it's like the whole thing is like these two guys is their only chance to do this thing. There was a lot of like meta stuff about that was was worked in my favor for the audience, being like so lovely and like excited to see this one kind of
Yeah.
performance thing. It felt like it was very moving to me, to be like some of those lines you're like, it's the most important night of my life, and like being like this might not happen again. Like it is like it was a
You
very
say night. It was a matinee.
so true. Yeah.
so he felt better for the night.
He did. He came back for the
He heard how well it went. He said, "I got to get back there now."
No. He's doing better. But while he was so sweet. He was like calling me and like very like.
But that's the story with Idina Menzel. Was she was doing Wicked, and apparently she went on vacation, started hearing the raves. I believe Stephanie J. Block was
people-
getting, and Idina said, "Oh, she cut her vacation short and came back."
Yeah.
Because she was like, I can't let this spread.
Well, the original story, the big one too, is
Thoroughly Modern Millie?
Yeah.
Thoroughly Modern Millie. There was a woman named Erin Dilly.
Yeah.
I feel so bad saying this because she was my acting teacher for something. And she was Thoroughly Modern Millie, got sick. Sutton Foster did it in previews.
Oh, yeah,
and the rest was history.
Oh
and
my
It's
God.
an
And-
awkward thing to like. You're like I guess.
And
you're
Erin's been
fired.
on Broadway. Erin's had a fine career. And it's just because I know this person. But like, it's so crazy if that's the piece of trivia. That's just like the Broadway trivia people bring up. She is the legendary story.
Well, because a lot of like theater heads, they think Stephanie should have gotten the role, and didn't Idina just get it because of Wicked, or like someone?
Who
I mean, because
knows?
of Rent.
It's so. Sure.
Like she just had the star power.
Here's another story. Cher Renee Scott, who's a big
'Cause
Broadway.
I've seen Idina live, and me and my friend grabbed each other and were like, something is wrong. She should have had an understudy that day. Like-
I think Idina would be a great guest on the podcast someday. But
Put on
yeah,
some shoes.
No,
You're at this amazing venue. You're just shoeless, bringing children up to sing "The Sun Will Come Out." Like it's just.
I thought you were talking to
insane.
me just now because I'm
Put
wearing
on some
sandals.
fucking
And I was like,
shoes.
what the fuck?
Show some goddamn respect.
So Idina Menzel was in Rent, and she has this monologue at the end where in the middle where she goes moo with me. She's doing a performance art piece, and the crowd goes moo, and she was very popular. Sherry Renee Scott replaced her, and apparently people were so mad Idina wasn't there, they would go boo,
my God,
boo.
Devastating.
that's awful.
I do have a beautiful understudy moment. So when I did see Hello Dolly, Bette Midler, so one of the male parts was an understudy, and during the curtain call, Bette Midler grabbed him and brought him to the front to get his own
Oh, that's nice.
bow.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get chills thinking about it. It was like, God, what a fucking, I love her.
Yeah,
I
she's
saw her-
also she's not a great tweeter though. That girl has said some wild stuff on
these
Twitter.
boomers. It's just honestly a reminder to all of us to continuously
Yes.
grow and change and evolve and try to understand the youth, or we will all end up that way. Get some friends in your 40s. This is what happens. Like you really have to be vigilant about
Yeah.
like understanding youth culture.
I
That's
feel like
true.
it already happens in our 30s. I feel like you'll talk to someone
Yeah.
our age and or I don't know how old you are, but like you'll talk to someone and you'll be like, oh my God, they sound so, you're like, and you're just going to be that way. Like you're already that way, like mad about like whatever an 18-year-old.
You know what it is.
You know
It's
what I mean?
trans.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
mad
yeah,
about
yeah.
the trans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they mad at?
Yeah. My day, they didn't have all
The fact of the matter is, like, I don't know. It's just been like these people have been around for a long time. Like, you're late. Like, you don't get to comment on it. You just found out about trans things 2 years ago. You're out of this. I had my first trans friend at 19. I'm 36. Like, you don't get
Sure.
to comment on something that's people that have been around for decades. I don't know.
It's the same thing with it's like high school women's sports. I'm just like, what are you talking?
I want to
Why
be
do
like,
you care?
name me one professional female swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name me one.
Yeah.
I like.
And then also they find this one, they're like, you see a trans woman play volleyball, made a little girl explode, and you're like, okay, relax.
No, it's
People get hurt in sports all the time.
Yeah.
We have a whole profession where people are getting CTE.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
But also, because it's also bad, because it's like, this is the knockings of fascism and the fact that these people don't see that they are marks of it.
Yeah.
You are part of the state. You are now part of whatever is about to go down. This is how it starts, and you are a mark for it. And then cut to 40 years when the dust settles, you're going to be like, that wasn't me. I didn't have, Richard Spencer on my podcast. And it's like, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You did do these things, and you were against trans people, and it was just the beginning. Guess what the next laws are going to be?
To me, it's that idea where they go, parents
So
especially.
annoying being a Jew. I just feel like the Holocaust is always in my brain. Like I can never. I'll be in
everyone-
Vegas at a pool. I'll be like, this is fun, and then I'll be like, oh no. Like I just can never relax. It's so bleak.
Well, your grandparents met
My
in the
dad was born in
Holocaust.
1938. My mom was born June 9th, 1945. Her parents met in a labor camp.
How much do you know about how did they
Nothing.
meet?
They don't talk. It's only when my dad's blacked out drunk and he'll be like, Liza, and then, tell me a story. They don't like to talk about their trauma.
Yeah. Just the idea of,
Even if someone new dies, they won't tell me for months. They don't want to hurt my feelings.
and when did you get to talk to your grandparents at all? How?
No, I'm going to go to a medium soon. I'm going to see if I can communicate with them.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't even pretend. There's one medium that I think is good. I've seen some stuff, so I'm going to try to go to her because I've never met my grandparents.
Yeah.
I want to see if maybe they'll communicate. Are you about to play like a Dumbo noise?
No. One of the
fucking
cards is
idiot.
full, but it's
Oh,
okay.
no.
We're recording on here. It's fine.
All right, it's fine.
I hate this whole thing. A medium.
Yeah. So this is what's wild.
Why is it hard?
No,
Okay.
this is no. I know why, because there's flyer. It's magic. So it's like I understand people being skeptical. Basically, I was listening to a podcast that I like. I think it was Las Culturistas. Busy Phillips was a guest on it, and she said that her friend Shantira went to a medium, and during her session, Busy's grandma came in, called her nickname, and went, "Can you tell Busy that I'm trying to reach out to her?" And called her this nickname that only her grandma called her. And then Busy Phillips was like, what the fuck? And then went to this medium. So it's like, I'm going to go to the medium. You're
Deep in your
you're
heart,
silent.
could you do me a favor? Could you close this camera and give me that card?
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Yeah, this angle's not for everybody, too. Like, I don't need this. I look great from front on. Sometimes.
You know, though.
There's a
it's
lot
not-
of scammers.
That it's if it was real.
I think it is.
Yeah,
But not everyone. I think there are people that are not good at tarot or whatever it is. And let's say it's a trick of like figuring stuff out, whatever.
Sure.
I'm okay with it. I'm someone that leans in.
Sure.
I go into everything like, let's do it.
Sure.
It's my only shot. I never had grandparents. Like, let me try
let you
it.
take a look.
You know what's so funny? I was performing at a Funny Bone.
Maybe I could tell my mom something and then she'll cry and then we'll have this beautiful moment. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Why are you so opposed?
But I pick a little card. I have little decks, like clairvoyant, and I'll pick one and I'll read about it and I'll kind of like think, how does this affect my day? Can I do something with it?
Sure.
Like, I'm into
but couldn't
it.
that just? Oh, you first of all. Okay. First, couldn't you have a deck that was just like thoughts for the day? Here's my premise. Just go along with my premise. Let's go with the premise that it's all made up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That it's all made up. It's at the bottom page, and you like push pop it out. You can turn the camera to the left. This is exciting podcast.
There's just
It's at
also
the bottom.
less confusing apparatuses you can use. This board is so intense.
All right, let's pause. I'll go to Guitar Center. You guys stay here, and we'll.
I'm
we'll
just
figure it
saying
out.
there's just simpler
his
ways. There's
second
like
board.
55 chords.
What is this? Is this where the card is?
You know,
There. This. Look at that flying. Okay, here we go.
this
Okay.
is the time of my life.
So here's my premise. Go with me
Yeah.
along for this for a second.
Okay.
Let's say it's not real.
Mhm.
It's not real. It's completely made up.
Yeah.
The
Great.
people who do it, some of them are fully lying. Some of them they kind of feel something, but ultimately what they're doing is kind of it's a cold reading, which is essentially crowd work. But instead of going for a laugh, you go for ooh, I got something that was true. If it is all made up, is there any harm to it at all? Given that people then build sometimes their whole life around this thing being real, maybe don't deal with certain things that they should be dealing with it because they believe in this afterlife, the same way that some evangelical Christians don't deal with global warming because they say, oh, well, Christ comes and then it's all fine. So under the premise that it is completely made up, which I know part of you says maybe, wouldn't it be a problem in that scenario?
Everything could be a problem. There's obviously rich people that have fortune tellers on their payroll that'll tell them whatever they want to hear for some cash. There's people that are like, come on in. But also, going back to crowd work, I feel like I have a gift. Like when I can look at a person and be like, so you play kickball? And they go, I do. Like, I think I'm good at it. Like, I don't think it's a chance. Like, we can read people, and I think that's a skill.
I'm doing crowd work. What do you do for work? Electrician. Wait, did your grandfather die recently?
No.
Because I did this funny bone. Paige, it's at the bottom. It's on the belly. It's on the belly.
You
okay,
need
yeah,
to
there you
stop
go.
referring to the camera's belly.
And then yeah. Oh, there we go. Paige, thank you. Funny bone. They were doing the preview sometimes before the show. It's horrible because they show little clips from stand-up comedians coming there soon, and sometimes the clips are awful. But I'm not paying attention, and they're doing their jokes, and then I suddenly hear like, "I see your father, and he misses you," and I look up, and it's a psychic who's going to be stopping by some of these comedy clubs.
Okay.
They have psychics stop by the Funny Bone.
They don't do comedy too. It's not.
No. They just do medium work, and it's just like some comedy clubs, Comics Mohegan Sun, where you've been. They have mediums stop by, and especially in that context, I'm like, we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're going to Cincinnati. Like, maybe there's enough people here I can fucking get to come.
There's just, I'm a real housewife fanatic.
I
And
was on an episode.
the comedy show,
Housewives-
Roni.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to rewatch. They've had a few comedy shows, but it's fucked that I don't remember it because I am pretty intense into it. But the housewives love going to mediums and fortune tellers and spiritual they love it. It's a trope. And usually it's bullshit. And then they went to one in Queens, and it's this Turkish woman, and she reads the coffee grinds that you leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
But these women were in fucking full-on tears. I mean, I don't know. It was like really
I also think
intense, cool stuff. And maybe if it is a trip, if you're not dealing with stuff here because it's an afterlife, I don't know if that association is it for me. I don't know.
I mean, relating to comedy and psychics, I think it would be the same thing as like if someone is getting all their news and believing from a comedian or from a podcast, like rather like it's your relationship to the thing, to like if you're going to a psychic and you're going to fully believe everything and change your life based on that. Yes, that's crazy. But it's the same thing as like listening to a comedian being like, oh, I now know what's exactly going on.
To me, it's the equivalent of when someone says, Jesus told me this thing in a dream. And I go, okay, what level do I have to pretend that this isn't just a trick that you played in
But
your
this is
brain?
where you lose me, because if you're super religious, that's the same as being having schizophrenia.
But my argument is that what you're is what you're talking about. No offense, schizophrenic.
They don't usually talk about Jesus. It's more like energy. It's more like,
Yeah, but that's the same. That's so what?
I don't know. Just
So what?
sometimes I have these moments where I'm with someone and I'll be like, "Wait, what's going on with this?" And they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you." I don't know. Like, sometimes connections are real. I also what I hear is my grandmother was people from the neighborhood would come get their cards read by her. And so, because I didn't know that, because my parents don't tell me anything. But a few years ago, I got my family a deck of like old school playing cards from the Soviet Union. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like old school.
Where you were born.
Yeah, and it's just complicated because it's modern day Ukraine, but I'm Russian speaking and like whatever. So I gave her these cards and she was so happy, and she goes, and then she told me that like people from the neighborhood would come and my grandma would read them cards. She would never accept money. People would bring food, but people, when they were having issues, they would go to her. And a part of me is like, is she in me? Is she around? I want to like be.
When she was doing the
connected to
cards,
her.
did at any point she said, "Oh, this Adolf Hitler not looking good. Oh, this card says
Later.
move. Let's get out of here quick."
But no one had money. I don't know. She was, it was after, but people in the neighborhood just went to her. And maybe it is fake and comfort, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people gamble. Like, I don't know.
Sure. Paige, what's
also
Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll do a return appearance on this show and tell you how the medium appointment. This is actually making me want, because I've been holding on to her information for like a year and a half and being a
Wow.
little too nervous to go. And maybe now I'll just do the plunge.
Please do. If you do it, I'd
then
happily have you
report.
to hear it back. We tried having a medium on, and I thought,
But the ones that want attention are bad. It's like the
how did
TV
you find
doctors.
out about this person again?
Someone talked about her because her friend went, but it wasn't like she was on this podcast. Busy Phillips was just like, you won't believe what happened. My friend went to a medium and my grandmother spoke to her.
Uh-huh.
And so, like,
I'd love to have a medium say something to me that made me go, oh my God.
yeah.
I don't know if you'd be open to it though, because you're also wanting them to do everything, like be
I feel
fully
like, what is
know
this?
the
Is like you made it
future.
weird all of a sudden. What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. You're just so closed off.
I
from it.
wish. I'm not closed off. I wish.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, like, who cares?
No, I'll see a certain number that I like to see and I'll go, I'm living in the right direction. Keep going. Like, I'm in it.
I used to have that, but I think that's a little OCD. I used to have things in my head. I went through I was just thinking about death in college. I had a little existential crisis.
Yeah.
And I used to say to myself, like, oh, if this number ends up coming up 7, then
You're gonna die?
there's an afterlife. Like some kind of there's some kind of, and it's just like it's like a little tick in the brain.
Yeah.
And it was 6, 6, 6.
I cannot believe that this is all there is.
But when I say it, I can't believe it. I fucking can't believe it. This is all there is? Okay.
I want a little magic.
Me
I
too.
want a little fun.
We don't differ there. I want a
Yeah.
little magic.
Yeah.
What's
What's magic to you?
I think that any kind of should there be anything of note, spiritual, consciousness-wise, we would be incapable of understanding it or receiving it at all. If there were people who could do any of this, the proof would be so evident. All they would have to do. Harry Houdini famously was a big skeptic, and he said, "There's a safe. I've hidden a piece of paper in it. Only I know the code to the safe. All you psychics, all you mediums, when I die, bring me back. I'll tell you the code. You can open the safe. Any shred of impossible to debunk proof, if it existed, it would have happened. Governments would be reshaped. Religions would change. The whole world, if someone could really say something that couldn't be proven, that it was a coincidence or something else, the whole world would be different.
Well, no, I think it's because it's mostly women that do it, so we're witches and they were never respected.
Yeah, they probably spirits over there were like, he seems like a dick. I'm not going to talk to him and bring in like
that's how they prevent the afterlife from being known.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll only tell women.
No, but they'll kill women. You know, women have all these magical powers and intuitions that have had to be stifled for our safety instead of diving full in. Or not. Or I come from, war-torn people and they needed something.
Okay.
Okay, wow. Both of you really.
And I think we're going there. I think we're entering war torn, and I'm going to be like, I need something to get through these days.
I do superstitions too. All my old superstitions from my parents. I do them all.
Like what? Which ones?
If I leave the house and I forget something, I have to look in the mirror before I leave again. I don't hug in a doorway. I don't celebrate things before they happen. I don't buy baby gifts before the baby is born. I don't step over anyone's legs.
I'm going to do that when I go to baby showers now and I don't bring a present. Sorry.
I don't believe it.
Old Russian thing.
No, I tell them, I go, I'll come to your I usually try to avoid showers altogether, but I'm trying to be more chill. But I'll be like, you're not getting I would never. I would never do that.
And are
what
these
there?
from?
Oh, I show my pocket to a crescent moon.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
Like I open my wallet or a pocket to the. If I see a crescent moon, I go and then I open my pocket and I.
What is that
show the
for?
moon.
Like, what is that?
Abundance. I don't know.
Okay.
Cash money.
Oh, okay.
I just see the respect you had for me go down more and more.
No, I respect you.
You're like, wow, you have OCD and your R word.
That you've made it this far with full-blown schizophrenia is impressive to me.
Yeah.
Does that come?
I don't cheers with water, but that's might be alcoholic family stuff.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
my
That's what
family
you
does that
think?
too. And my grandma was also the one to tell me don't celebrate birthdays before they happen. So yeah, I get that.
Does that come from being? So talk to me a little. When did you leave the Soviet Union?
Oh, I was a young child. I was the immigration took a year and a half through Austria, Italy, but I came to America at 3 years old.
Okay. But you were Jewish.
Yeah.
There, and was that why they?
Yeah,
they
we
left?
came on religious asylum. So it's like when all the Russian Jews came in the early 90s, late 80s.
And why were they kicked out again? Was it? My history is so brutal.
We weren't kicked out. I was just the Jewish United, there was a whole Fran Lebowitz talks about it. That's in her documentary, but there was a whole. She got booed at this event because it was all the rabbi. It was all these so many Jews being we need to help the Russian Jews. We need to bring them here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fran Lebowitz made a funny joke about all these Jewish mother, and then everyone booed, and the rabbis had to walk her off the stage.
Wait, they booed her because she
made a joke and it didn't hit.
Oh.
It didn't hit. I know my parents you weren't allowed to go to certain schools or professions. Jews were not treated well, but I don't know the extent post Holocaust. But even with the conflict now, sometimes my parents are Russian, Ukrainian. We were Jewish. Everyone hated us. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
But yeah, we don't really talk about anything. But we came and the Jewish community in Chicago is what helped us. We had a volontaire. We had a family, and they were American, and they would helped us be American. They would show us the ropes of American life. Oh. And they got my mom her job that she worked at for 30 years.
And your parents, so they lived there for a long time though. Is your dad? Tell me about your dad. Your dad sounds fascinating.
He's he's great. He's 85 years old, and he does his steps. He works at the pool in the summer. He has his garden. He is an active human, but he's an asshole. He's an old Soviet man.
Yeah.
He's a dick. My way or the highway. If you just say no or not right now, it's a full-blown attack on him. And he's not kind. So, he'll never say anything nice to me. But one time, I love telling the story. So I was upstairs doing a Zoom interview with local Chicago news.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I come downstairs. They watched it on the TV, and my dad goes, "You look down too much. Don't do that." then cut to I'm leaving. He hands me a binder, and in the binder are photos of the TV he went and got printed, and then I had all my photos printed in like the binder sleeves. But he could have just said good job,
Yeah.
but he can't.
Yeah.
You know, he can't just express any sort of kind emotion. So, but my neighbor will be like, "We get drunk and watch your videos," and he talks about you.
Oh.
Or he'll
that's
keep the
sweet.
newspaper, and my mom will be like, "Stop bragging about her." But to my face, it'll be like, "That's it. Oh, you were in the other episode longer." You know, like he'll never be nice.
Oh yeah.
What makes him laugh?
I don't know.
Like my stepfather was not a very laughy guy, but I remember we saw Borat and the nude wrestling scene. I thought he was gonna die. He laughed. He just and it's interesting too. My father's the same way too. He loves like slapstick stuff.
Yes, we
He
watched
doesn't-
Three Stooges growing up. That was our
really?
thing. And not speaking English, it's like action movies, Three Stooges, like stuff like that. But I had a moment like that. Our whole family went to see My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and boy, did we love it. And like my sister's husband's family all went, and they're like the American ones,
yeah.
and we're the wild ones, and so we just like had a ball. Like I remember that movie going.
Does that movie hold up?
I think so. I really do. They're making a third one.
Yeah, I heard the second seemed like it was rough. But I just remember the Windex,
Yeah.
and like that was like the funniest thing in
yeah.
the world.
But my dad was 50 when I was born, and that is what's hard. I've always just had old parents, so some of it is like I've just had senior citizens around where he could have been cooler when he was young. Like he was a slut. He was sexy. He looked like Jude Law. He was a whore. And like he would not even be he didn't marry my mom till they were like way pregnant with me. Like he was just like a whore around town.
Your older sister, half sister or full
No,
sister?
full sister.
Full
He's
sister.
a fucking piece of shit. I'm telling. He's like a fuck boy. My dad's a fuck boy.
What made him finally settle? Like, is he like? Did he become a family man once he moved?
So he I think he was obsessed with me as a baby.
That's so cute.
And his mom, he lived with. So my grandma died a few days before I was born, and he lived with his mother till the day she died.
Oh my
He refused to live with my mom or do anything because he stayed with his mother, and that's why he's also like his way or the highway because you shouldn't live with your mom till you're 50.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
That's wild to
So
think
unless
about.
you all treat him like he's the prince of the house, he's pissed, you know?
I see.
And so until the mom died, and then I was born a few days later, and then he had to go live with my mother. And then
Maybe that's when I'll be like less commitment phobic is when
you're so committed though. You're like in such
yeah.
a committed relationship.
it's true.
Yeah, that gift you gave was thoughtful, but you know he is embarrassing. They're at every game, and then my mom is like the more soft one, this Lizachka, like so sweet.
But your comedy, you talk about sex, you talk about drugs and other things too. But like, how did they react? Were they chill in the beginning?
They don't really go. They've seen me twice. They watch my shit on my specials, I guess. But I just hope for the best that they don't understand what I'm saying. But I think my mom trolled me once because she called me and I do this joke. Netflix The Degenerates, but it's basically about birthright and how you're like having like cum on your tits at the Holocaust Museum. So that's like the joke. Like there's more to it, there's some tags.
You really want to talk to your grandparents through this medium?
And I'm like, it's weird being at the Holocaust Museum and you have 6 million Jews dead on your tits, something like that.
Sure,
so
sure. That's how your grandma met your grandpa. It was at the same
Yeah.
location.
But my mom called me and she goes, me and your dad don't know how you made the Holocaust funny. Why was it funny? Can you explain that joke to us? So I knew that.
I like it. You can explain it, and at the end they go, "Oh, yes."
Laugh and laugh.
I was just like, absolutely not. We don't say I love you, but I always feel loved. It's like very kind of stereotypical kind of Eastern European tough energy. But they let me be who I am, like get tattoos, and I got arrested as a youth. Like I really did get
What were
to
you
live
arrested
an American
for?
energy. Being a drunk bitch.
Really? Yeah, that's on the report.
Yeah.
Drunk bitch.
I was just a drunk maniac.
Yeah.
And I got arrested 3 times in like a year and a half.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And then I found stand up and I was like, oh, I'm chill now.
Really?
Yeah, like I just needed to find my purpose, and my purpose for a while was getting drunk. And so then but I started at 21, so it's perfect. Having all your arrests before 20, great.
You've never been arrested.
No.
No, not these theater boys.
I almost did. I almost did once.
I got disorderly conduct for peeing in public when I was young. You know,
Thank God you didn't get.
you know, they were nice about it. It was,
Did they-
but it was like in an alley, like outside of. You know what I mean? It was like.
That could fuck up your whole life. It's
Truly.
so
Did they
fucked
tap
up.
you midstream? Like were they like
no, they let me stop, and then I came
in the-
around.
when you came back around, they
It was
said,
like
"We
the
saw."
bar was like it was one of those things where it was just like the bar was crazy. It was like I just left and I was like fuck, and then it was so crazy line to get back in, and I was like not thinking and drunk and like 20 or 21. I must have been 21.
Yeah.
And then but it was me and two other friends, all of us.
Real quick, let me just say for those just joining, this is the downside. We didn't get to our normal intro, but if you're
Yeah, we didn't play
enjoying, I know we'll play it. If you're enjoying the show, please join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. We're building up. We're releasing one bonus episode every month now, live episodes. We got live episodes coming up with what's his name, Ari Hershkowitz.
Yes.
He from the movie One of Us about leaving the Hasidic community in
Whoa.
Brooklyn. Did you see that documentary?
No, I couldn't. It was gonna make me too sad. Like there's just certain even though I have like a crime pod, I was just like I can't. I should though.
Yeah. I think your crime pod deals with more fucked up things.
Yeah, for sure. There's just something about it. Just makes me so sad and thinking about all the people that are there and that mom trying to get away from her kid. It's like getting her kid. It's just it makes me so sad.
A lot of it is about this mom who left trying to get custody of her 38 children, and it's it's like 9 kids.
The religious stuff, the Duggar documentary, that one, I couldn't. It's just like, I just feel so sad. Did you guys ever watch Wife Swap?
Yeah, or I'm familiar, but I didn't
I
watch.
mean, like the reality show.
Yeah, I used to
I
love
saw
that
a porno recently called Wife Swap.
I saw the worst thing in a porno recently. This girl's on her foot had a tattoo, "Live, Laugh, Love," and I was like, this is
Wow, you know how
insane.
we're watching different porns because that's the worst thing you saw in a porn recently. Was
No,
it
I watch
Live,
horrific
Laugh,
porn,
Love?
but I like it.
But
I have a subscription. I pay for porn.
you pay for porn.
I pay for my site.
We did this. We had a porn star on. We had Aaliyah
Yeah.
Janine.
Yeah.
And Russell's never paid for porn in his entire life.
Well,
No, it's fine. You pay for
Well, when you like sick shit, you got to get a membership. Like you
Yeah.
got to
specific,
find it somewhere.
website?
Kink.com.
Kink.com. And you can't just find it anywhere else. Like
You could get the
how-
short clips on Pornhub, but like
Is there a tab for like Live, Laugh, Love tattoos on right foot? What are the tabs? Or what are the regular tabs?
the category? So I'm a public disgrace girly. That's the channel I like.
Uh huh.
But they have gangbangs, bound shit.
What does
people.
public disgrace mean? Like people are around?
So yeah, so it's like a porn star will be taken into, let's say, like a biker bar, and there's all these bikers, and then there's a few professionals on hold, and then like every porn star is different. So some it's like everyone can stick their dick in that, it's like whatever.
Sure.
But they're mostly being disrespected by the group, and
Sexually, not just like
yeah, they'll put like a pool cue in a butt.
uh huh.
Are you?
They're not like saying your credit score is bad.
But everyone has their own limits. But it's public disgrace. So it's like in a bar, a clothing shop, a sex shop, and so they'll close it out. And sometimes it's like regular customers, and then they're like a bodega, a pizza store. But this is all in San Francisco.
Are all the regular? It's all in San Francisco.
Yeah, because that's where the Kink Castle used to be, but they sold it to Soho House for $65 million.
That's a production company.
It was a whole castle. But Kink was in the castle, and they would have these parties. And
I think I've heard of this. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, have you? I think
Familiar. He was one of the bikers in that bar. He's got the cue tip break.
But I watched the interviews before and after to like suss out how I feel about like the morality of what's happening.
They have pre and post interviews.
Yes, because Kink is actually like you need the safe words. They need you to know that like the women know their safe words, like what's happening.
In the
their
video
do's and
though, if
don'ts.
they had said the safe word, they would have cut that part out. Like you don't see them say the safe word in the video.
No, but I like to know that their limits are being respected and not pushed.
It's fascinating to want to see like the disrespect, the illusion. It's like it's playing the game.
Well, a lot of the porn stars, like a Bella Dane, because there's other ones where you're just tied up, then it's not a public thing, but it's like hitting, and it's a lot, like for a lot of these porn stars, so much of it is and I'm sure they're acting during this too, but so much of like normal porn is fake. It's act, you know, it's
Yeah.
and so here you're really thrown into hopefully real, you know, they're like it's a little more real, raw
Yeah.
in a way because they're tied up or whatever.
I don't know. I see it and I just go like, oh, this looks like it's.
And then the
Rough.
after interview, sometimes you can see that the girl's like, wow, that crowd was crazy. They really were hitting me, you know? And then sometimes it's like, sometimes it's a girl that's like, that was the best day of my life. I loved that part. I loved that everyone hit, when you spit in my mouth, I loved it. So it's like, I like to make sure it's a positive energy before I like.
So you go to the post and you go, okay, they seem okay.
Yeah.
Let's see how their makeup got like this.
Yeah. I watch the pre and post. I see their energy. Like, are you but sometimes I like it when it's really bad too. But like sometimes when it's like 18-year-old services old men, I'm like, this is sad. Why is she here? But then, you know, I read a lot, like Lorelei Lee has like this amazing article she wrote about like like sex work and how it could be like, it's all about like being positive for it. But if you don't have financial freedom, how much of a choice can it be? And like,
of course.
but also they also want autonomy where it's like if they're saying they're fine, like to, you know, stop thinking I'm a victim. And so there's just like a lot, you know, of course. But I try to engage in all of it and actually support them and not just.
Well, yeah, I think it's so frustrating about the hypocrisy of like when they fire teachers for finding their OnlyFans. It's like you can't. Let's say in your mind you're of the mindset, oh, not everyone should be doing OnlyFans. Your only option to try to change that is to help economically in other areas, so that's not what they're forced to do. But instead, they follow the human impulse of, we'll fire you if you do it, we'll ban the OnlyFans, blah, blah, blah. And it's so like it's just that frustrating thing of, no, the way to actually help would be to pay your teachers more, and then some of them might not do it anymore. But you don't have control.
Yeah.
If you want control, you got to join kink.com.
Yeah, like they were the first to like stop working with James Dean after his allegations came out and stuff because it's kind of violent and fucked up when you just see it.
For sure.
You have to make sure that like everyone is following the rules. You know, you can't have someone shady. You can't have someone trying to push your limits there.
Yeah. You know James Dean?
Yeah, I heard the whole story, yeah.
Yeah. You keep wanting me to have him on the pod, and I keep telling you no.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some you know, Joanna Angel. She grew up like a Orthodox Jew, and she's
Joanne Angel. I thought you said like Joe and Angel.
No, her husband is Small Hands, but they live in New York. You should have them on.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're fun.
Sure.
They're tattooed. They're cool. She's actually amazing because she was the first female to own like a porn production company and website, and it was for tatted rocker girls. But
I
she's
fucking
like
love it.
She's She went to college with Chris Gethard. He always says that like he was puking one night and she helped him.
Like humiliated him and filmed him. I was like, yeah, puke on my puss. No, I'd love to have him on. I think there was that porn star recently, him and his wife. He basically had like, it's all
Lena the
racist.
Plug and
Lena the Plug and Adam 22 or whatever.
Jumper,
But then suddenly I saw like Adam 22 start showing like political beliefs on Twitter, and I was like, oh. Yeah, you know, it was that moment where people have with actors, where people are like, all these conservatives who love Robert De Niro, like, please stop. And I saw this, I was like, ugh, God, I don't want to know this about everybody.
How bad he's probably bad. He like,
yeah, it was.
She's so cool. I just,
you know, so Adam 22 and Lena the Plug, they have a show, I guess.
This is what's funny. So they have a podcast called Plug Talk, and I kept looking for it. I saw the clip. I was like, where is it? Why Apple? But where is it? It's obviously on OnlyFans. They fuck after they podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's the couple sits.
Can you imagine with all these wires, with all these cameras, suddenly fucking the audio would get cut off immediately. It'd be chaos.
I can't imagine spending one more second with you after this when we get done with the podcast episode, let alone fuck you.
So then she starts with the girl, and then the guy.
That would be my humiliation porn. They'd be like, "This setup is horrible."
Yes, they
start. So the guest is usually a porn star, always, and then they fuck afterwards. And this is on OnlyFans.
That's a good idea.
But she only fucks women and him. And so she fucked this other guy for the first time. But this is what you do as a porn star. You got to hold your asshole. You got to hold your gangbangs, your girl.
Yeah.
Because you got to hold out on it and then get the big paycheck. And so she didn't fuck a dude for years.
And they made a big deal out of it of like, oh, he's getting cucked. And he did this whole like, people are so obsessed with the idea of like, you're a cuck now. And he really like played onto the like.
He bought her a Lamborghini. He's like, yeah.
They made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now that he's famous, now he's like, here's my political views.
What are
Like,
they?
oh, okay.
And it was one of the big, what does he hate? I'm like so curious. Is it tax
I would be
stuff?
misquoting it, but it's something.
I just want to know the direction because it seems like they would be liberal.
It could have easily been like Ukraine stuff. Like I'm not sure what it was, but it was just like
This is what I'll complain about. All these people are like, we shouldn't send money to Ukraine or wherever. They're not going to spend it on you.
Yeah.
They're thinking like if the money doesn't go to Ukraine, it's going to go to public education and food, it's security and like all the. It's not going to go to retirement. They're going to buy bombs. So it's like, who gives a shit? This
It's
idea.
like my dad with his horses. He'd spend it on horses, and it's like it's not going to me.
No.
It's going to his new girlfriend's fake tits.
Yeah.
That's where it's going.
Wait, so your dad's a little scumbag too, or what?
Big scum.
But he has bought breast implants for
Multiple.
I swear, Mom, if I get this wrong, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure I know my mom has breast implants, and I'm pretty sure my dad paid for them, which had to have been tough for my stepdad. Had to have been tough to be like, did he write a thank you note?
Well,
We also have to replace them every like decade.
Yeah.
So no.
I don't know. I'll have to
think
ask my
so.
mom. But she told me this funny story that my little sister, like thought like, oh, well, eventually these are going to grow in. And my mom had to be like, oh, sweetheart, no. There's no titties coming in.
So funny.
but your dad's done for like three.
At least 2, probably more.
Yeah.
Who knows? But is that a scumbag? It depends.
Yeah.
Did they want the breast implants? Did he put pressure and then they wanted it?
Well, on
Who the fuck
Vanderpump
knows?
Rules, one of the bad boys, Jax, he told his now wife Brittany, he's like, well, if I'm half paying for them, I get to choose what size they're gonna be, and he was being really aggressive and weird about it.
What size did he pick?
They look great. I don't even remember, but he wanted obviously bigger, and she's like, I think just to see. I don't know.
Yes, he's fine. What's your choice?
I think yes, he's great. BC. You know,
BC.
I think anytime it's like you go crazy big, that's a long like in the future. How's that going to be? You know what I mean? It's going to
Just
be
the
a lot
back
harder.
issues. I know so many women who have gotten the breast reduction. That seems like it's got to be tough because they take it. Don't they take it under the tit? I mean, it's a
Surgery
lot.
just our culture. It's like plastic surgery is so in and all this stuff, but it's like it's major surgery. It's really serious shit.
I could never
You know?
imagine. It's hard for me to imagine because I have a deviated septum.
Yeah.
The idea of getting surgery I don't have to get. Surgery is so
Are you
scary.
snoring?
I'm not snoring, but I can't breathe. If I'm a little bit stuffy, I can't breathe at all. And I have this mindset of like, oh, if I could breathe through my nose, my anxiety would go down. Then I'd be cool and chill and have friends.
You wouldn't be a psychopath.
Never know.
Psychopath. Before we go to This Gotta Stop, you have this true crime
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
That's Messed Up, an SVU podcast. Me and my friend Kara, we talk about an episode of SVU that we talk about the true crime it's based on. And then pre-strike, we talk to actors from the episode.
That's fun.
It's really fun.
You ever like get like iced tea?
Not Ice-T yet, but we got Captain Craig. We got a lot of, we got Kelly Giddish. We had
Who was the guy that died recently who was a comic?
Richard Belzer. He wouldn't do it. So he lived, he was great. He was living in France, the life.
Oh
He
yeah.
had a ton of money. He would just be with his dog. Margaret
Yeah.
Cho told us that he was just like at cafes with his leashless dogs going crazy, high as hell. And packed picnic baskets, cool home. And they tried to get him for the 500th episode. They're like, can you just zoom in? And he goes, I don't have Wi-Fi and I don't want to. So he would, we couldn't really get him. But we've got a bunch of the cast members, but we've gotten like Oscar winners. We've gotten Lou Diamond Phillips. Wyclef, it's Matthew Lillard was recently amazing. But
Yeah.
cool people. A lot of Broadway babies too. The guy who plays Beetlejuice.
Alex Brightman.
Yeah, we had him on. We had some cool Broadway people on. And one dumb bitch from Broadway we'll talk shit about later.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh good.
When you look at the real crimes, obviously there's a lot of true crime podcasts right now.
Yeah.
And some critique. I think of it more especially like with like the Dahmer series,
I didn't watch it.
where there's a degree of. I remember there was a video and they showed like this woman testifying against Dahmer in court, and then they compared it to the acting performance, and the acting performance was like very accurate, but like the woman in the video had expressly said, "Please don't make this fucking show."
Yeah.
What's your opinion, or what do you have any rules about like the way that you joke about this stuff, how old the crimes are, do you feel like you respect? And we've said all sorts of fucking shit on here.
Yeah, no, we care a lot. So we're interested in this. I think it's, for me, I'll talk about, like, as humans, we've always been into crime. People went to hangings.
Yeah.
They went to the Manson homes. We had Hard Copy, 2020, Dateline, Autopsy on HBO, Forensic Files. But only when women started making podcasts about crime is suddenly the ethics of it brought up. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been complaining about it way before we're involved.
it's just interesting that like no one had an issue with Dateline, and then all of a sudden it's like two girls in a podcast, which I get, it's like a cliche, and suddenly it's like, let's talk about the ethics, and it's like, I don't know, you guys are doing tours of murder places. I mean, I went to a serial killer wax museum in Niagara Falls in junior high, and I forced my family to go, and the photos are funny because everyone is livid, and I am beaming, right? Beaming.
It's just of the serial killers?
Yeah, in their things. So like the body part, there's just like what it's a wax museum, but it's the killers in action with it's sick. But I went as a child and I demanded it, so it's like,
why do you think you have because I think it's more those stories upset me in a way I don't feel good at all.
No.
I feel, and you're similar.
Yeah, I get stressed about it.
No, it's awful. Yeah. So we have to take breaks because like we'll record a bunch and then we sometimes have to step away. Sometimes a crime will be too much where I go, I need a break. Because they do really horrify me. I think about them all the time. I think it's changed my brain chemistry, how I act, like things I'm scared of. Like I'm way more suspicious and on edge. Like it has changed me as a person reading all this stuff. We joke in the SVU. We try not. We also like write to parole boards. We raise money. Like we've had like victims' families message us. Like we do try really hard, and we fuck up. And sometimes we get really kind messages letting us know. Sometimes not. It's really sensitive information.
And we get really pissed.
Yeah, but you know what I learned? Like one early episode of SVU, Not a True Crime, they had someone with trichotillomania, which is an anxiety disorder where you rip your own hair out. And so like I knew about it because MTV True Life had a trichotillomania episode when I was like in junior high. So it's always been a thing in my life. And I have a really dear friend that has it. So I just know about it. So I just talked about trichotillomania and kept it moving. We got one message from someone going, holy shit, I have trichotillomania. Like no one's ever talked about it so casually and matter-of-factly without it being like this big thing. Thank you so much. Like it was just amazing hearing you gloss over it. Like it wasn't a big deal. And then we got a message, how dare you talk about trichotillomania the way? And so that was the moment where I go, oh, you're not going to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I also, I'm not a Scott Peterson apologist, but I don't think they had enough evidence to prove, it was the Casey Anthony of it all. Like they couldn't prove how, when, where. You can't sentence someone to death. Do I think he did it? Yes. But like in the court of law, they had no evidence.
Yeah.
And so people got mad. And, there are other crime podcasts that are more matter of fact. There is no opinion. They're like, this is what happened. And I'll just be like, these dumb bitches. Because the cops fuck up. The cops fuck up so much.
I think
Almost always.
The investigations, women will escape and be like, I've been tortured in a basement. And they'll be like, you're a drunk whore. And like more women, or like.
Of course. But I also see like, Jax Delarosa. Did you know her?
No.
She was a comedian who died not too long ago.
I saw this on
from
Twitter.
From apparently suicide. At least that's what was told. And she had, and again, this is all what I've gathered from all this stuff.
Yeah.
They gather that essentially she had some kind of mental something happening, but she was active on Twitter, and she was saying that it was like her boyfriend was gonna track her down, that her father was a lawyer, her father had made other people disappear. Bottom line is, the consensus or the public consensus, I keep looking at Paige like save me, but the public consensus was that she had mental struggles and she took her own life. But of course, Twitter being Twitter and looking at her feed was like, this is a grand conspiracy. Her father did this, and other people were like, please leave this family alone. But
agree.
like there is this thing of, listen, of course the cops get it. I'm not here to defend cops. I just go like, these internet sleuths, it was like listening to Serial.
Yeah, but then
people,
you know
everyone
what was
suddenly
fun?
knows.
No, we don't know. But what was fun was like the "Don't Fuck with Cats" that documentary. It was the people that solved it. No, I think
Sure.
you can't accuse just random boyfriends and start stalking families and calling people. You have to respect victims.
But we haven't figured out at least.
We
the
do
general
reporting.
code.
I never do theories. It's reporting. So I'm
Sure.
reading credible sources. All of our sources are printed always. And then we try to like also highlight organizations that work on it. But like we do full, like our resources are transparent.
Conviction aside, do you think Anand did it? Serial?
I never watched. I don't know about Serial.
never did?
No.
Oh, God.
I didn't do that one.
That
But
was so
recently, we had an episode air about this bike path rapist who's from Buffalo, and he ended up taking his own life in prison 3 days after our podcast episode aired. And a part of us is like,
Whoa.
maybe someone told him. No, but maybe it was the pod. No, we've learned a lot, and it's mostly like unearthing so much injustice and crimes, and how like there was one crime where a witness was like, it was like a 1995 Mercury, and they couldn't find it, and that was that, and it was in 1994. Or like Ed Kemper confessed, and the cops were like, Ed. They like knew Ed. Ed was a cop lover. They went to search his house, didn't even search it. He had guns, up someone's head in the closet. They didn't do anything.
Oh my
Also,
God.
we learn about like all these people that get the system, and then they convince psychologists at a young age, and then they get released. And a lot of these criminals have petty crimes against women young, but we don't take them seriously enough.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of these mass shooter or like killers, if you go back, they were stalking at 15. They were doing
Yeah.
weird shit. There's always history.
Is
Yeah,
Law and Order?
Oh.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like with all the new kind of fascination of true crime and docs and things like that,
Yeah.
I feel like what's most interesting is like really looking at like the police work and what their function is, because so often the really what it is they'd rather get an answer before the answer, like before the truth. Like it's like more important for them to just solve it
Yeah.
than find the truth out. Like sometimes it's just like, well, we did everything, but you're like, you huge things that you're missing or not even curious about looking into.
Well, we just covered one. I don't even know if we released it yet, but so there's documentaries about it, and the SVU episode, Robin Williams plays this criminal, so that's really cool, and he's fantastic in it. But this guy, you might have even heard of him. I feel like you're gonna like this, but he would call fast food places and convince the manager that one of his employees
Yeah.
is stealing, and they need to hold him in an office, and then slowly they would sexually assault these young women, strip them naked, and this was all on camera, and they were doing it because a voice on the phone told them.
Compliance. The
Yeah.
movie
It was
is
the
called
cop.
Compliance.
Oh, there's a
there's
scripted movie too?
on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's based on that real life thing.
So this motherfucker, they know what happens is like you get there and the cops like they don't know what to do, and so one detective was like, fuck, this is my neighbor, like I have to solve this. And then one cop in Boston got together. No one else was really investigating, and they couldn't get him because they finally got like evidence of him buying a calling card, but you couldn't prove what calling card called, so he got not guilty. They could not get him. But also all of these individual attacks, these women got no justice.
Yeah.
And then like some were like charged and then got not guilty, like because the jury felt bad for them because of the voice. And then one guy did go to prison for rape, but like all these cases, there was like 30 something spanning a decade, maybe even more, and no one put it together. The FBI didn't string it, like
Because
nothing.
all the different jurisdictions too. Like when you're like cross state lines and cross different things, it gets like they sometimes are like, oh, we don't share all that. There's not a national thing that we're sharing with everyone. So everyone has their own information, but it's not always shared. So
It was wild, but no one like these women's lives are forever changed.
Yeah. Of
Assaulted
course.
as young teens.
Yeah.
No justice.
Is Law and
was
Order
wild.
propaganda?
Yeah. Okay. So early on in our podcast, we got a bunch of 1-star reviews, and people diverted from us because we talk about how cops are fucked up, and we're pretty mean about cops.
Sure.
And we talk about real stuff. And the first crime we did was based on Leona Hemsley. I don't know if you remember her. She was like a New York real estate who didn't pay her taxes or whatever.
No, I don't
But it
remember.
was actually bullshit. And Giuliani and Trump, because Trump and Leona Hemsley were competitors in
Yeah,
real
yeah.
estate, and Giuliani like fucked Leona and charged her on stuff, and like
course,
it goes back. It goes back. But that was our first episode. So right away, all the Trump people left and left awful reviews, and then all the people that love cops were pissed. And so we mostly just have a lot of listeners that are social workers, lawyers, teachers, like so. But it is copganda, and I think a lot of people watch it and they think that the cops are like Olivia Benson and Stabler, but it is a fantasy of the justice system.
Yeah.
It is a place where women are listened to, crimes are solved. Even if you don't want to report it, she's going to sneak into your house, get evidence, and she's going to do it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
they are getting you counseling. So it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
That's why so many women, I think, watch it. It's a fantasy of the criminal justice system and how we deal with sexual assault cases. You know, the rape kits are tested in this episode, in the
Sure.
show. But
They should just do an episode of The Backlog. They're just like, holy shit.
there is a back. There's a
Of course.
of
Yeah.
course. There's some backlog episodes, but you know, I back in college, I like volunteered at a shelter, and we got to know the sexual assault response team at the police station, and they're like, they do exist, but it's rare and it's really a fantasy, and I think that's why we love it. But it is copganda if you think that's how all cops are. But I think SVU in particular does a great job because they'll have the other departments be like, the sex police are here. Or they'll be like, oh, that's not a person, that's a hooker. And then like the detectives will be like, you get out of my face, you know? So, or like other precincts aren't being helpful, or like the drug unit, they have a long investigation and they want to shut down your rape investigation. They have to fight for it. So they do a good job of like showing how other cops are bozos. But yeah, it's fully copganda. And if you're not a critical viewer at all, you're gonna hate our pod for sure, because we do have opinion. You know, we're there are people that lean towards other crime podcasts that are more matter of fact. It is two people talking,
Sure.
and we have opinions.
Well, let's go on to our next segment. Speaking of opinions, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my God, none of your
That's not the
buttons
right
are
cue.
working.
Wow.
Did I get too serious? I mean,
No.
No.
Please, we like to get
No.
serious.
and are there ethical issues to what we do? Probably. But we try to raise money when there's time. We get involved.
You've never had a psychic on to bring back the victims or anything like that.
No, but we do our own research because some of our sex works or like certain things we got blowback on. So then we talk to a professor, and then we
Sure.
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I
educate
like that.
ourselves.
Yeah, that's good.
Not on it, or like for Planned during Roe v. Wade. It's happening. But when Roe v. Wade was about to be overturned, we had someone from Planned Parenthood come and talk because there's a few abortion episodes, obviously.
Well, our next segment is called "This Has Got to Stop." Normally, there's a cool sound cue. Paige, do you want to do it?
This has got to stop.
That's
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. This has got to stop. This is where we're talking that something needs to stop. Something needs to big, small, personal, large. Russell, do you have a "This has got to stop"?
But you're gonna hate me because there's a qualifier to it, because it's not really this got to stop. It's more like I think this should stop as career advice for Pink. Listen, Pink does the aerials.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. I think she should do
I'm
something
obsessed
else
with you guys.
because I see it online. I'm not a fan of Pink, but like, you know, people share. I think I had people recently at a Pink concert that I follow. They were sharing the aerials, and you're like, oh, this has been going on for a long time. It's very impressive. Like, wow, it's crazy. Only person in the game doing it. But I have concerns for her that she needs something else. Like, it's like it could be like the thing with what's that comedian that would smash the watermelon?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little like that's her-
Gallagher.
in my head now. I think of Pink. I think of her flying everywhere, and I'm like, that feels stressful to be like, how long can you do that for? How long? Like how many years? To
So are you worried about her joints, or are you saying it's boring?
I'm saying a lot of things. I'm saying like I've seen it shared a lot. I'm a little bored with it. That's one thing. But mainly like I'm concerned for her as a like you just need a new gimmick, I think. You know what I mean?
agree. We haven't heard a splash from Pink in a while.
Like-
and I think there's something surreal about someone doing something like that and being like,
You
ugh,
can
this
rest.
again.
You can kind of be like, it's so impressive that I think you can then like be like, oh, I don't have to worry about making new music or
Do
doing.
you think she feels like she has to do it now?
No,
Like,
maybe.
Because if I went to go see Pink and she did not fly through the air,
That's a good point.
I would be livid.
That's so true. That's actually very true.
I would be
I guess I really
livid.
hadn't thought of. I hadn't thought of it as someone going to see it. So
Yeah, I would be like, get up in there, bitch.
I think I was thinking of it as someone who sees it occasionally on Instagram. I was like, okay, we get it.
Can you
fly.
imagine
Like,
if
enough.
you could do it as a stand-up comedian one day and then you're like, you start a joke and then you go flying into the air
Yeah.
and you keep telling, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Are there any other female artists that you have some notes about their performance career?
No, I feel bad because I felt like, okay, she's on tour right now. She didn't get nearly as much attention as Beyonce and Taylor Swift at the same time, and she's flying around. And I'm like, so like,
I mean,
what,
that's
you know?
what's crazy about our industry. It's like no matter how this bitch is selling out arenas, and it's still like, well, I'm not Taylor. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's so hard to ever celebrate your success because
It's just gotta be-
Beyonce didn't even get enough attention that she deserved. To be honest,
Yeah, I mean,
Taylor really
She's doing
dominated.
okay. I mean, Beyonce's still doing pretty well.
Oh no, she
Taylor
actually
performs more often than Beyonce does.
Beyonce has made her tour made making more money, made more money than Taylor, but that's
Yeah,
not what we're
sure.
hearing.
I'm sure.
Sure.
Exactly.
And I think it was purposely timed. The Travis Kelce and because Beyonce's last show was October 1st in Kansas City, but she was in New York at the Jets Chiefs game, and all the news was about that. And I think she did that on purpose, so no one talked about Beyonce's tour.
So interesting.
Do you think they actually like each other?
Yeah, because when Kanye did that thing at the VMAs, do you know what I'm talking about with the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest cultural
One of the most
moment of our entire lives. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
I thought you were like above the VMAs. I don't know.
Not at all.
Or like Oscars or nothing. Beyonce when she like brought Taylor back on and was like, you know,
Yeah.
but I think Taylor's competitive and likes to be number one.
Do you think her and Travis are a real?
I don't care, but I'm in it. I love it. I love it. I love the way he looks at her, whether it's PR or not. I don't care if they're all gay.
There
no
was
one's gay.
one video of him, and they're like, "Look how he looks at Taylor," and someone said that's him looking at the playback of his play.
No,
on
he
the
said,
field.
"Damn, there she is."
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, I don't care if it's fake. I like love romance.
No, I know that about you, Liza. You don't care if it's fake at all.
No, I love romance. I love the convertible. Like I love the vibe of it all. But I do think the NFL is probably paying her, or they're trying to get women, more fans in. Like something is up. They're using "Welcome to New York" in the
I don't
ads.
think those women are going to stick around when Taylor stops going, though. I don't think
No.
they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, I really like football now."
No, but what if they gave her $30 million to go to these games? And then she stays relevant still, because she's now promoting the 1989 like re-release.
Yeah.
And when she first did it, that was like the Bad Blood, the Friends, the Supermodels. So she's like recreating that.
Well,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing I saw on Twitter was the conspiracy, or not, a theory that she was doing it to get rid of the private jets. Google. Because like it was,
you
it was
hear
Taylor
that?
Swift goes to the Jets game, so now when you search Jets Taylor Swift instead of any story about
her doing
private,
a private
jets,
jet to go to CVS.
it was like a thing to erase that story from
no
Google.
chance.
Like
There's no
like,
I
chance.
love that. I
well, the
love
only
that.
the only kind of like proof around is like when she went to the other game, they didn't put the name of the team in the headline. But for when it was the Jets, though, it was all Jets was in the head. Anyways, it's a fun little theory.
PR is real.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
This kind of fits into my "this has got to stop." Feel free to challenge it. Where is this?
Where'd
So,
you get these guest checks? You steal it from the cellar?
no, someone gave it to me. No, I didn't
nice.
steal it. Thank you. I like it as a notepad. It's kind of fun.
Reminds me of my youth.
So mine is about the Empire State Building. So the Empire State Building does. Sometimes they change the colors for the things, and they recently did one specifically for Israel, the Israeli flag, the blue and the white. 3 days prior, they did one for Taylor Swift, and the picture ketchup and seemingly ranch. And it was a photo that went viral because someone said, here's Taylor with ketchup and seemingly ranch. And I guess my feeling is it's either
Well, you know,
a
rich
really
guys-
important thing.
No, but you can get an app. Like if you're a rich dude, you could buy an app and then you could be on a date with a girl and you could change the colors of the Empire State
I
Building.
heard they got rid of that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I was with someone who had done that.
Yeah, no, I think they
Oh.
stopped it a couple years ago.
I thought that would discuss. Sorry to interrupt,
Oh,
but I thought
sure.
you'd like to know that.
Oh.
Sure. Okay. Well, if that blows through my whole thing. But I think they at least promoted it. And I think there's just a degree of like, this is kind of a little bit of a conservative take of like, it's either a meaningful thing or it's a super cutesy thing. But if they're right next to each other, it just feels like this is nothing. You can't go from talking about a gigantic global situation to ketchup and mustard. Then it's not a
But
thing.
they got to light it up every day somehow. You know, they got to put some color on it. So sometimes there's not something happening.
Sometimes it's death and destruction.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's a
You
little
know?
chicken finger.
Sometimes it's St. Patty's Day. Turn it green. You know what I mean? Like what? Well, like it just.
Yeah, I just think sometimes in the pursuit of everything being like funny and kind of viral and kitschy, you take away the meaning of it sometimes.
Yeah.
No, because I
And-
think people that if they, I do feel like it's how I don't know. I don't think people. I feel like that one thing I wouldn't have known what it was, like the orange and white. You'd be like, what?
For example, to take an easier example, like when they do it for Gay Pride Month, I think there's something about it that feels like,
Okay.
wow, a big public display of pride.
Yeah.
And then when I see it used for ketchup and seemingly ranch, I go, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't mean anything.
I see.
They'll fucking put anything
I
up
mean,
there.
Taylor is an ambassador of New York.
Is she really?
They made her one with her Welcome to New York song.
I'm
for
scared of
tourism.
how.
Yes, you should
Nothing
be.
against Taylor. There's too much power.
Yeah.
There's too much power, and it's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And I'm sure.
No, even what I said now, like my life could be over. I might not have said the right thing. If you don't think there's not going to be death threats and they're not going to comb our tweets, you're mistaken.
Yeah.
These Swifties, they're intense. But I get it. I was a teen once. If you're an adult Swiftie, you need help. But as a teen, I was really in love with the Backstreet Boys, and I would kill for them.
Yeah.
Like sometimes your hormones are wild, and you're not getting fingered, and you have to put all your attention to the pop star you love.
What's your This Has Gotta Stop?
Wait, I had another Taylor Swift thing to say.
Please.
So my friend works at NYU and she's a part of graduation.
Yeah.
And Taylor did the commencement speech a couple years ago, but it's all these grad students and she's talking like a person who doesn't know life. Like she's like, and don't let the haters get you down. And it's like, these are grad students. Like what haters? These are full adults, Taylor. So it is fun. It's kind of why I love watching Celebrity Family Feud. Like the celebrities just like don't know. They'll be like, what's in an average person's living room? And they'll be like, a gold-plated shark. Like they don't know how to play.
yeah.
And I really enjoy out of touch
That is so
celebrity.
funny.
It really makes me happy.
Anytime anyone talks about a hater, you're like, I don't know what you're talking. Like it's a bizarre concept to ever think about. Like that. That's something that you're like have advice on.
Yeah.
A hater. Can you?
I'm sure we have some downside haters.
Yeah, but I would never think it would never be like it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just when you talk about it's a
very
talking
weird-
about a hater is hard to talk about without feeling like you're self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
There's just a degree of like it's the same way I don't like the word fans. There's just something feels weird, but
gross.
yeah. What do you call your? We
I
call
say
Debbie
listeners.
Downsiders. Listeners, Debbie Downsiders.
I say murder girls, but and then the people that are at the show, I don't know what I say, but fan is gross for sure. It's like
Yeah.
it's weird. I go people that are obsessed with me.
That's good.
Can't get enough.
What's your
God,
This Gotta
which one
Stop?
do I do? You're what's gotta stop? Do not ask me a question if you already know the thing. I hate when someone goes, "Do you want to leave at 1 or 1:30?" And then I'll say 1 and they'll go, I'm thinking 1:30. Just say you want to leave at fucking 1:30. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Do you want pizza or if you know what you want, just tell me. So like, don't ask me a question of 2 options if you actually just want to do one of the options.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that is something that bothers me.
Yeah.
Who did this to you most recently?
I have a friend that does this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fine. I like her, but she'll just be like, so do you think we should park or take a car or whatever? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, let's take a car. I was thinking we drive. And I'm like, I'm fine drive. I didn't even give a shit. You didn't even have to ask me. If you told me what we were doing, I would do it. You know what I mean?
I feel like it must be that they're on the they want something, but they're not fully committed, and they're hoping that you
need
give that, like,
validation.
final thing, and
Yeah.
then when you don't, they go, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Do you ever say the thing that they want? Or is it always, maybe they do the opposite and you need to use that to your advantage. You want Chinese, you say, let's get pizza.
I know. But I want to do a few. Another one I have is stop acting like you have to go to weddings and then complaining about it. Ugh, I have to travel, the hotel. What do you mean I can't bring kids? Just don't go.
Yeah.
I love weddings. I will fly across an ocean. I will get dressed. I'll get my hair done. I like it. So I will never come. I love being included in people's love and events, and I love seeing their family. I enjoy it. But if you don't have to go. But to then complain about I have to spend on, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Whoa, my New Year's is ruined. You don't have to go. They would rather have people that want to spend New Year's with them.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
it bothers me when people act like they have to do these things.
Yeah.
There's a no on the check mark.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because I do think people sometimes then when there's a lack of conversation, that's an easy thing to go to, which is to complain about like that kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, weddings are just a tough thing of like, I have some friends, our friend Chris, he has like a lot of friends. And I think it's probably tough for him because he wants to say yes to it all. And then suddenly he has 6 in a row and he goes, my life is out of control.
Yeah.
But I tell him all the time, say no.
There's a difference though when you're like genuinely like it's like frustrating, but he still wants to go. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not like one of those
Sure.
people that is gonna like.
You know what's bleak is
loves going.
that same thing is gonna turn into funerals at a certain point. Yeah. It'll be like, oh, I gotta go here for the fucking funeral.
No, before the funeral, hopefully baby showers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or like graduating med school. I don't know how old we are, but God, it's really sick. And then my final one,
Please.
stop calling people fat on the internet. We know we've gained weight. Like, I don't understand it. What do you want from me?
Well, what's your thinking behind it?
It's like out of control, and it's usually for every video. There, check your diabetes. I do. I have a thyroid problem. I go to my endocrinologist. My blood work is done. I'm doing a joke about something random, and then it's 1,000 comments about my weight, and I'm like, get a life.
God.
It's insane. Russell's been out because of the show, and we've had some female co-hosts. And until you post a video, like from your own account with a woman featured, you really witness like the comments, and you're like, this is fucking not that you're shocked, not that I'm like, oh, women have it tough on the internet, but really when it's like something you posted and you get an email every time there's a comment, you're like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
what is wrong?
I would rather people threaten my safety. Stop it. I just can't anymore because I love the internet and you're making it a place where, it's just you're getting notifications and it's like, okay.
I don't know how you. All I know is like one time someone in a pose I had, they said I had a muffin top, and I spiraled for weeks. And I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I think guys just have to have a taste of it. Not that I was doing fat comments before that. And then I was like, you know what? No more commenting on Liza's videos.
I'm a sicko. So like, most people have private accounts, and that sucks. But if you don't,
Yeah.
I'll find a photo of your daughter, your mother, your passion, and I will write what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
I'll just be, ew, your mom's gross. Or I'll be like, it'll be someone playing the guitar. I'll be like, you should quit. You're the worst. Like I'll just do it back. Usually, I mean, that's what they want. They want his attention. So I'm like feeding into it in a way that's stupid for me and a time suck. And I should get a life, read a book, ride a bike.
I'll do that sometimes.
Go to the gym. No.
I'll do that sometimes, and then I delete it 10 seconds later. Like I go through and it's not. They usually go like, this joke sucks, and then I'll find their account with 8 views on some video. I'm like, well, this sucks.
One guy recently, I looked, I had all of these notifications for reposting of my clip. So I looked and it was just this one guy with 30 followers. But like under my clip, just writing this much, like a paragraph of what's wrong with me. And there was like 5 in a row.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, what do you want from me?
But what do you think my dad, whenever he felt
jealous.
insecure about his weight, he would say something about like a woman's weight on TV. and my dad wasn't there, and I just
I
just
feel like
couldn't
our
understand.
dads should hang out.
Sure.
Yeah, I think our dads
Listen,
would
my
have
dad
a great
could
time.
use a friend. Please.
All dads need friends. They don't have friends.
I'm shocked. My dad has 2 best friends, and I'm like, God bless. I send them. I'm like, this is wild that you're friends with this man.
That could be
My-
fun, trapping your dad with other dads. Just so
My
they
dad
have
was
someone.
talking to his friend who is one of the top leading fertility specialists in the country. Like he travels, he does in vitro for people. Like this kind of best friends with my dirtbag dad. And my dad one time was on the phone with him and called him, and it was in Russian, but he goes, you little girl idiot.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I told you my daughter's here, you little girl idiot. And like hangs up on this doctor who keeps just being like, hi. I'm like, what does this doctor get from my father? But I think our dads would have fun. I have a
Sure.
few, all of my friends' dads are such alcoholic dirtbags. It's like they all gotta get together.
Yeah. Because my dad tries.
Well, my dad's not vax, so we need to get tested before
Oh
too.
my
But they believe in it.
God.
Wow.
They believe in it. They wear masks. They do the thing. My dad had heart surgery during the pandemic.
My
He's
dad
in
had a
his
quintuple
80s,
bypass too.
and he just was scared. And my mom kind of does whatever my father does. Very traditional gender roles in my home.
My
And
dad got
so-
vaccinated, but he was very scared after his quintuple bypass, which was in
Yeah.
2020. He was, even more scared about the clot stuff.
Yeah. But they wear masks, which is like a blessing at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't think it's fake, which is nice. But they are not vaxxed, and that is hard.
Yeah. Well,
We can never take them anywhere again.
No. Then they never
these
had
days, you can take them.
Sure.
People are all doing
No,
it.
I don't want my parents. I care about
Oh,
their
your
safety.
parents. I mean, look again. If you want to figure out a way to get out of weddings, easy, not vaxxed.
Wait, so what would your dad would like say something shitty about? Because if it's like fine, if you want to fuck with Rosie O'Donnell, okay, but then they'll fuck with. I also think that's bad. Like leave me alone. I've gained some weight, but like Padma Lakshmi, one of the most beautiful women in the world, had a sports, and someone wrote to her like, you should work out your arms more, and it's like. Padma? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Or there's a porn star I'm obsessed with, Keisha Gray, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And her it's like, I liked you better than what you're gaining, what you're doing. And it's like, they're doing it to the top tier looking women too.
Yeah. But that's how you know it's so detached from any facts on the ground. My dad, we would watch a show called So You Think You Can Dance, which is a really good show. And like one of the judges was like a woman who had spunk and was like loud. She was like woo, and she would get emotional and all worked up. And my dad would just always just like whoa, look at that lady over there. And you're like, who is this for? What is he getting out of it? And I'm sure for when I'm there, he's trying to like relate to me somehow. But my sister would be there too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I remember like an uncle one time getting so mad about Rosie O'Donnell being like in the Flintstones movie and like being
Who was she?
Like I remember being a kid and being like, why is he so mad about she was Betty Rubble. It's like, that's not how Betty Rubble looked. Like that classic thing of like, I don't want to jerk like they were jerking off to like Betty Rubble, like the cartoon, but then Rosie O'Donnell was playing it and they were so mad about it. And I just remember, like, that's stuck in my head as being a kid. Like, why?
You know, the bottom line of it is that these men, they want to stay in power in the patriarchy. And the moment that it seems like a woman is not tailoring herself to all of their needs, that's a sign that's indicative of the power hold being a little bit loosened. And I think that's the deeper, like, underneath, like, well, people aren't doing everything for my
me.
desires.
Yeah.
That means my whole world is collapsing.
Yeah, and they're jealous. They want to do clips on the internet.
Yeah.
They want to cut clips.
My dad thinks he can dance.
No, I want to do a dad thing too, like you guys did. I remember so vividly Helen Hunt won the Oscar over Kate Winslet one year, and my dad was livid that a flat-chested bitch won an award. He was like, look at her tits and her I can't believe they gave it to this small-titted woman.
Oh, man.
I just love the Oscar voting academy. So whose tits are bigger? We can't say that part out loud, Frank.
It is wild. Dads are just the same. But yeah, I'm just sick of it. I want to have a good time on the internet. Call me a dumb bitch, but like, I just can't. And it's because on my page, if you don't follow me, you can't comment, but it's the collabs. It's the seller collabs. It's the don't tell collabs. That's when I get the influx for weeks, months.
Yeah. She's working with Don't Tell.
It's not their fault. I told them, I'm like, because I have words too. Like if you use certain words, it won't come up on my page. And I'm like, can you just hide like fat pig bitch? Like, can you just like get that? Can that be one of the hidden words?
And they're like, we don't nearly have the manpower.
No, what they said, they go, oh my God, we have a bunch of them hidden. And then they looked and they go, oh my God.
Are you
hide some
comment
more.
deleting for them?
No, I'm not the social media manager.
No,
so
they were very
she does
nice.
Stuff.
He was like, oh, geez, we have a bunch of them hidden, but this is.
But you're right. You end up cultivating your fan base on all the social media platforms, and you forget, or like it becomes nice, and then someone shares a video, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that I'd have
And
this wall of
sometimes
protection.
it's like, I know I'm killing it. Like my This Is Not Happening on YouTube, I think is amazing. It's about my arrests. And like, I know it's good. At the end of the day, I was also in that room. I did great.
Yeah.
And then someone wrote to me and they go, I love that video. I'm so sorry about the comments. Fuck those people. I'm like, I didn't read the comments, but thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And then Ari goes, oh yeah, they're bad. They hated you. And I go, for what? I killed it. I'm like, your hero couldn't even follow me that night.
After you went on for Broadway, I don't know if I almost regretted it. I Googled his name. I wanted to see if anyone just wrote anything. And there's a Reddit and people were fawning all over you. And I sent it to him, but then I was worried like I didn't look through the whole Reddit. I didn't know if there was another Reddit thread that said "fuck this Josh Gad fucking wannabe."
It was I was nervous, but it was like the only negative things on there are like people that are like, I shouldn't have to pay to see an understudy. Like it was outside of my performance. It was like the argument that like,
So you didn't see the one that was titled "We had to see this fat pig bitch play Josh Gad's role
see this
today."
fat pig bitch.
But that's amazing that that the reviews on Reddit were good.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at what you said, and then I haven't checked since because I was like, oh, it was all good, great. I don't want to know anything else. So
Yeah, was it good? Did you like that? I when I sent it, I was like, oh, don't put his mind there. Like,
no,
don't make him
I was
think in the-
curious, and I was glad to see that it was good. And I looked, and I was like, "Oh, good, it's good." Outside of people being
I
like,
checked the screenshot like neurotically, like read it 3 times to make sure there wasn't like one like cut off like this was the worst thing we've ever seen.
Wait, and how do you get paid? Do you get paid for all the rehearsal time, or is it just per performance?
no,
or
you get-
hourly?
yeah, it's I have to go to the show every day. Like it's a weekly salary.
Oh, you go to the show every day?
Yeah, because it's like your standby in case something
And
happens.
it does, yeah.
There's like a tiny cameo part at the end of the show that I also sometimes do when they don't have a celebrity.
Whoa, I didn't know that. So you're there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I know the alphabet understudies always have to have like the green
Yes.
paint
ready
and
to
green
go.
nail.
They
And then
do?
all the just alphabets need green nail polish at all times.
Oh, that's no, I don't have any. That's not
I wonder if the Shrek, when they did Shrek, if they
Yeah.
do the full costume.
Theater is insane. Now we did full circle. This will be a perfect little, moment, but theater is insane.
I was gonna press the button.
doesn't have it.
Let's see
Oh,
what
is there
it is.
another segment?
It's the
This is
blessing.
the blessing.
You better count your blessing. This is where we say something we're thankful for. Russell, you got it.
Yeah, my obvious one. Everyone has been so sweet. The friends that were scrambling to get there, it meant so much to me that they all, came within an hour and a half notice to make it happen. And like, truly, everyone at the theater, it was like so nice. You coming down from to go on stage, and the crew, they're all there. They're like cheering on. It just was a very moving weekend, and especially I'm just very thankful for Andrew Reynolds. He really it was really a special experience for me to have that be my first time, and to feel like he was so supportive and so loving and so like present and fun. And so I felt like I feel very fortunate, very blessed.
And then did you go out after?
I didn't, but I celebrated last night. I went out.
He had to go to this next show that
I had 2
it was a
shows the
matinee,
next
so
day.
he had the.
Oh yeah, I had the night show right after.
Nuts. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
not know that was
Broadway's
part of the
brutal.
gig.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're like full time. You're just like.
Oh, you're
there.
getting paid. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
My blessing is I was performing in Dubuque, Iowa. That's not the blessing. There was a bowling alley above me, but an old college friend, musical theater conservatory, was my roommate for a year. His parents came to the show. They live in Dubuque, Iowa, and it was there's always something so special where these are parents who are like, I've seen them maybe 3 times in my entire life.
Yeah.
But they saw me in college doing a musical. and it was very cool. Some people when they come and see you, you're like, that's so sweet that you would come to see me below this bowling
What
alley.
else are they going to do in Dubuque?
Sure.
You're a
They're like,
blessing.
we did
You're the
bowling alley.
blessing for them.
Well, sure. That's what they say whenever you're there. I'm always like, thank you for coming. And they're like, thank you for coming here. And you know what? Given that the airport was an hour, 15 minutes away, yeah.
Yeah.
So my blessing is on behalf of Dubuque, and it's for me.
Yeah.
But it was so nice to see his parents. And yeah, that's my blessing. What's your blessing?
That's so cute. I was thinking of all of yours are performance based, so I was gonna do a blessing to my new Nintendo Switch, but that seems. I've been playing Mario. I'm gonna beat the game that I couldn't
Did you
beat
see
as
the
a
movie?
child. Of course,
I watched it on an airplane, and I was like, wow, they pulled it off.
it was fun. It was cute. One of my friends goes, "That's for babies," and I go, "Yeah, I guess it's not for adult, but it's fun."
Yeah.
I liked the coins.
the
I liked
Academy Awards.
the inside jokes of my child. So yeah, now I'm playing Mario and it's really fun. But I saw Incubus at the Hollywood Bowl this week, so that'll be my
Oh.
blessing. I had a great time. They did the Morning View album in its entirety and then did all these hits.
A classic.
It was awesome. And I ran into a friend
Incredible.
from high school. But his voice is beautiful.
And he's beautiful. Brandon Void.
Yeah, he took off his shirt for the hits.
Yes. That sounds like such an insane show.
It was, I was like, it was special. It was special. It was like reliving my youth, but he sounds so good. And it was like everyone was dressed like they were dressed 20 years ago listening to them. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
like, I have a Red Hot Chili Pepper tattoo, and let's just say it fit right in. Like it was a lot of Deftones outfits. It was a lot of, like emo people. It was really fun, and the Hollywood Bowl is really beautiful. And and Lizzo came out with her flute. And yeah, Lizzo's a giant Incubus fan.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she posted
Did the
this-
crowd go wild, or was some of the crowd like, oh?
No, more wild than probably for Incubus, I would say.
Yeah.
We were like a kind of too mature of a crowd. I was like, we're kind of quiet. But yeah, no. She posted that 20 years ago she went to the Morning View tour. And
Wow.
but then in parentheses she goes, but I've been a fan since the Science album.
Hell yeah.
But she was dancing the whole time. Like she was at the show and then went up and played the flute for one of the songs.
I love that.
and it was
W-
cool.
w- I saw Death Cab to Cutie. Was that the 20th anniversary of that album?
I'm not a Death Cab
Postal
fan so much
service.
as I am
Postal
Incubus.
service.
It was the
Yeah,
20. It
that's
was,
really
it was like
cool.
the 25th anniversary.
It's just like
Postal
it's
Service
that
album.
era of like
Yeah,
20s. We're in the
182's
20 anniversary of like.
I know it's humiliating. Like the only other time I've been to the Hollywood Bowl was last summer to see the Backstreet Boys. It's like, can I get new taste? Can I get a new
yeah,
interest?
yeah, yeah.
Can
Let me
I
tell you
get
though,
anything new
you know
in my life?
What I'm going to see is if NSYNC goes on tour, as is rumored, I'm going to see that.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
go.
See that
too.
100%.
They're not going to be as good as Backstreet, but I would go.
Really?
Yeah, because Backstreet never took a break. They've been working.
Sure.
They've been on tour all this time, doing cruises, like performing for their people, putting out new albums. These
Yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah.
they gotta get in shape.
Sure.
They gotta
sure.
they gotta get ready to
They
tour.
They don't jump for the bye-bye-byes anymore. It's just.
But I told my mom, I was like, the Backstreets, they're in such good shape. They hit every dance move, everything. She's like, they're young. Because she's in her 70s. She's
Sure,
like, yeah, they're
sure.
40. They should be dancing. She's like, I gave birth to you in my 40s. But yeah, seeing Incubus and his beautiful voice, and he did my favorite thing of a musician, which is not talk too much. No histories of the song, no little jokes. Just, thank you. What a cool night. And sang the next
Love
song.
that.
Love it.
Yeah.
I don't need a tale.
Yeah.
Maybe from Cher, but that's it.
So this is coming out. What is it again, Paige?
October 24th.
October 24th. What would you like to plug?
So my podcast is That's Messed Up, an SVU podcast, and we are on the road through the fall into December. We're in New York. We just added a second show at City Winery. It's in December. Park West we're doing in Chicago November 5th, and then all of Midwest we're doing. Milwaukee, Madison, Detroit. We'll be in Cleveland. We're doing it all. So check out our Instagram. You know how to do the internet. That's another one. Another complaining.
Oh, when they ask.
If I want to buy a ticket, I look for it. Why do I need to add the link and the thing and I just don't know. I don't know.
Sure. I usually think sometimes I always say that stuff, but I'm like, oh, they'll find it if they want it. I don't need to go link in bio. They'll Google it.
No, they won't. They
Really?
won't. They'll write you a message going, "How do I get a ticket?" But sorry, no. Even you can message me. We would love. We would love for you to come.
Take it. Anyways, I'm so.
But we're in
thankful.
Pittsburgh. But we're in Pittsburgh this week, so we're doing the pod, and then I'm doing stand-up the 27th and 28th. So this week I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm doing stand-up in LA at the Dynasty Typewriter, I think November 2nd. I'm out and about.
We'll put all the links in the things. Russell, do you have plans of when you're going to spike Josh Gad's drink again?
No, I don't have anything.
And I'm glitter cheese on the internet. So it's glitter cheese, and that's messed up. Thank you for letting me be on this.
Oh my God, yeah. And then
And you know what my big pet peeve is? Too short of podcasts. Now podcasts are like 45 minutes and you got to get out of there. And
Thank you.
You really allowed me to talk for a long time, and I needed that.
I was
Good.
so happy.
Do you guys fight about that?
we do. I'm always like 90 minutes cut off. Like he's like, oh, we could go 2 hours. We could go 2.5. You know, like yeah. Do you know when our Uncle Function show is? I know you can't do it.
I'm not even on it.
I know. I'm just asking if you know. And it's in November. It's a New York Comedy Fest. Look it up. Uncle Function, early November. So I don't know that. Other than
I
that,
just said they won't look it up.
I know, but they will maybe.
Talking right now, but it's like you gotta go to the Insta.
Yeah.
Websites are over. It's just like you really have to. The way I found out about Incubus is I saw a billboard and I went, yes.
Wow.
And I bought a ticket.
We need a billboard.
We need a billboard. So Uncle Function, early November, New York Comedy Fest, at Russell J. Daniels on Instagram. And, you know, you can come see Gutenberg, the musical on Broadway. I most likely won't be in it, but I'm there 8 times a week.
But if
Where do you sit?
you're in the back, in the
we do-
mezzanine.
Well, I'm either in the back, in the mezzanine watching, or I...
Would it be weird if a
dressing
Debbie Downsider comes up to you in the back and goes, hey?
No, yeah, you can send me a message on there, and I'll come say hi.
So do you watch it intensely, or are you sometimes like zoning off?
It's early enough where I'm usually watching it for specific reasons, like what for specific moments of like, wait, when does he put this thing here?
You're always
You know?
whispering like, this is how I would do it.
No. But I'm starting to now, like, I can't watch it every day now. I'm starting to be like, okay, I'll watch, like, the first act, go sit in the dressing room for the second act, or you know. So I'm now it's just more chill, hanging out.
I've never. This is cool. I've never met
I
someone.
mean,
who
I've
has
never
that
done it
job.
before, so it's like, you know, figuring it out. But I feel a lot more relaxed that now it's happened. So like the worst case thing, you know.
And you were in
Worst
the
success
hit
case.
musical Titanic. I mean, you've had a year.
It's been a year. It's been a year, a wild
And
year.
this podcast?
And
And you have a YouTube plaque.
Yeah. And we got to
That's huge.
500,000. We didn't even get the plaque
Oh,
yet for that
yeah.
one.
Wait, you have 500,000?
Yeah, but it's just through the shorts.
Wow.
It's
I know.
Just
I'm
spreading
starting to do short. I watch shorts, and it is a battleground.
yeah.
They are trying to. It's all right wing stuff, and all I go
yeah.
on is to watch Drag Race stuff. So to me, I'm
Sure.
like, why are you doing this? I'm constantly having to be like, no Ben Shapiro, thank you. No women swimming, like, and they won't listen.
That's the thing with Twitter right now where I'm like, how is it possible that I'm getting Jordan Peterson talking about a trans thing?
Yeah.
I could not be like,
yeah.
it's nuts.
Yeah, he's wearing a Little Shop of Horrors T-shirt.
Yeah.
He's for the trans community.
I want more
what
AI.
color is the $500,000 gonna be?
I don't know. I'm sure it's a bronze.
That's so cool.
Thank you. I will be in Italy. These might have sold out by now, but Milan November 1st,
Milan.
London November 2nd through 5th. We added a 5th show, maybe added a 6th by now. And then, you know, I got fucking, what is this? Berlin November 7th, Amsterdam November 8th, and Paris November 9th. If I come back with bed bugs, I will be fucking pissed. I'm not touching anything for that trip. I've seen these videos. I cannot come back.
But
And-
you know how to check now. You know, you'll check the mattress.
Oh,
you'll
I'll
pick up the
check.
You'll do it, yeah.
Yeah. And then November 10th, hopefully I will be watching Anthony Jeselnik at Carnegie Hall as my treat for that brutal tour.
Fun.
Paige, where can people find?
Love that it's a brutal tour in Italy.
It's like I land, I'll do the show, and then I got to go back to the airport to make sure if something goes wrong at one of these airports, it's over.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's just tight.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
You take a train,
You
maybe.
already
Probably
booked the flights,
booked
Paige.
the
What
No,
the-
I know, but I'm saying there's a backup in Europe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Paige.
Paige
you
is
wanna
a problem
plug
solver.
Don't Tell. Paige just helped with But Don't Tell's first New York shoot.
Yeah, we had a weekend of I think 20 comics total, filming the sets. So those will be coming out probably in 2 months or so. So go check
Liza
out.
and I did the one together
Yes,
in
go
LA, and
check
I was
out Gianmarco's.
so chill and cool and
Yeah,
fun.
Oh god.
and
Was it not fun?
He was just doing full on reenactments in the back room. Like he swung his arms around a lot off stage.
and Liza, she shows up. This Liza, she goes like, "Oh, we're filming this one."
No, I knew.
And if there's any spirits out there, please subscribe on Spotify so we can get these fucking listens. This is the downside.
No, you really don't have any of the.
Add it in post.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
Tell him, Russell.
Subscribe to The Downside right now.
Where?
Down here. Or here. We don't know, but just do it.
Or also, what else could they do?
They can follow the Patreon. They can subscribe to the Patreon.
No!
Sorry.
Patreon.com/downside.
Too much pressure.